Gotta be fucking kidding.
Here's the first movie.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Peel that pig and slice him thick.
The body count is always bigger.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
The fucking trees walked in those movies.
Hi, doggy.
What a story, Mark.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Life moves pretty fast.
If you want your sequel to become a franchise.
37 dicks.
In a row?
I'm your number one fan.
Hello everyone! Welcome back to Marathon Me for a very special episode. We are combining our Alien and our Predator marathon in the ultimate crossover episode.
Whoa, it's never been done before. You've never seen the Aliens and Predators crossover. We're the ones coining it. We're the first people to do it.
Exactly. I know, right? Never been thought before. So we just did our Alien marathon, and then we moved on to Predator, and we did all of our ranking and everything like that.
Yeah.
And, of course, the franchise has been begging for us to compare them, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And what better way to do it than taking the opportunity and taking the chance to make a special episode where we watch the AVP movies and then compare the franchises, talk about the movies a bit, and sort of unpack what the hell went on with them making these movies,
oh
right?
my god, yeah.
I have never seen them, and I just, when watching all the Alien movies and all the Predator movies, as much as I was loving it and soaking it all up and taking it as it was, just on its own sort of merit, there was this little curiosity in the back of my mind during every movie that we watched going, how are they gonna bring these two together?
Yeah, it seems like almost like it shouldn't work, like bringing in the Aliens and Predators together, because it's like, I don't know, it's just, the only thing they really have in common is that they're creatures in science fiction horror movies. Apart from that, you wouldn't really think to bring them together, honestly. It's kind of like, I don't know, for me it's a bit of a weird combination and all that. Like the only reason that they're together is because they're two iconic horror villains, like akin to Freddy vs. Jason and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like, it just seems bizarre though. It's like, where are the other, and now after watching these movies, it's like, where are the other crossovers? Where's the Chucky versus Leprechaun movie?
I know!
Where is that?
Well, I just find it fascinating how this sort of concept is brought to life solely by fanfare, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
There was a demand out there for it, and it being so loud got it made. So I think that this sort of shows that any crossover can be made if there's enough of an outcry for it.
Yeah, if the fans scream out loud enough for it, then it'll happen.
Especially now, in just how vocal we can be with having
social media
online,
and all
yeah,
that.
with having online as a platform
that's
to talk.
like how that new Justice League movie, that Zack Snyder's Justice League was kind of a thing, because a lot of people were petitioning for it to actually the original vision to see the light of day, since, we got the shitty version in 2017, and then, because that movie was so bad, and because, Zack Snyder's, he wasn't able to really, do what he wanted with that film, because he had to drop the project. So then, fans were like, hey, give us the original shit. Give us the good shit.
That's like a really, really good example that is probably going to be brought up in a media studies classes for years of case studies where there's a two-way communication and how the studios affected their but the decisions and behaviors based off of the actual audience crying out. There were billboards in LA that were leak the Snyder cut.
Oh, really?
Like
I didn't know that there were billboards.
Yeah, there was.
That's interesting.
I find it very, very interesting.
Have you seen Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I have not had a spare 4 hours in a very long time.
Oh, what? Oh, man, no, that time will fly by. It's not like it's just going to drag on forever.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I don't really have much of an interest in, because I don't know. I don't really care for Zack Snyder's films, honestly. I don't care for his stuff. I like the Dawn of the Dead remake, but I think it was less Zack Snyder's direction that made me like it, and more so the script, which was actually written by James Gunn, which I only just found out recently, because I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid. That probably also factors into why I like it so much. But apart from that movie, I never was really like a big Snyder head or whatever.
No, that's fair.
I just think it's just like also like a lot of Snyder fanboys can just be way too fucking much.
300 is, I think, awful. Like, it's very shallow.
It has been years since I've seen 300, but even as a kid, I just got bored. Like it was like epic battle scenes and all that, but it's just like it's nothing but epic battle scenes, and it's just exhausting after a while. And
it is an exhausting film.
Yeah, and I just don't care. I didn't really like as a kid. Yeah, I didn't really care for it.
Well,
and I don't think anything will change.
Watchmen is good though. I think the Watchmen is like undeniably good.
I think Watchmen, I enjoy it, but there is so much wrong with it, and a lot of it drags for me. But the stuff that's good in it is really good. Like the performance-wise, especially. Like I think the cast is fucking great in that movie.
I think it does very, very well world building for like a 2009 film. I think that's very, very good.
It's a very ambitious project, and I feel like a lot, like not everything about it works for me, but I feel like that's more so to my personal taste. But you know, I wouldn't outright say it's a bad film. I'd probably say it's been a couple years since I've seen it. I'd probably say maybe it'd be like a 6 or like a light 7 out of 10 for me. But I might have to rewatch it actually.
So to bring it back though to what we're actually talking about.
Yes.
So where did this idea get planted? Where was the seed of this idea?
I think that it got planted in Predator 2, really. Like, the whole, like, when Danny Glover's character, finds his way onto the Predator ship at the end of the movie, and you see that, like, that trophy wall of all these skulls, and then, they don't make a big deal out of it, but you do see a xenomorph skull there, and I think that was, like, a nice little cheeky Easter egg that, like, the filmmakers wanted to put in there, and I think that kind of sparked the flame of people being like, the Predators have tangled with xenomorphs. We need to see this. We want this. And then I'm pretty sure, like, what was it like? There was like a huge like comic run and all that of like Alien vs Predator, right? Yeah.
There was comic runs and it was actually as early as like, so this happened in 1990 that we first got this. Like the seed was planted.
Yeah,
that aliens and predators can come together in some way with Predator 2. And in 1994, the first iteration of a script was made.
Oh, really?
For a movie called The Hunt: Alien vs Predator.
So that's kind of cool.
So it actually has been like also like quite quickly something was attempted to be made from this.
Well, I mean, it's like a pretty like good idea that like the fans would really like clamoring for. So like I don't blame like studios for like really trying to jump on the horse. You know what I mean? Like and get started on a project like this.
Well, they tried.
Yeah,
but
apparently apparently there was like development hell or some shit.
Yeah. Took 10 years. 10 years to get somewhere with it and actually make something concrete, which is when we got Alien vs. Predator 2004. Finally.
Yep, finally.
Took a decade to make something, but at least it was something that was made.
Yeah, it was something that was made, and apparently not everyone loved it since, like, it's pretty, like, bad. It's got pretty awful reviews, that movie.
But it has made a buttload of money. Crazy amount of money.
Oh, definitely. A film doesn't have to be good to make a lot of money. Like, look at the Transformers movies, for example.
It came out at a really, really good time for it to be marketable, because also Blu-ray just started being a thing at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So I was told some anecdotes from work about this, is that when Blu-ray players first sort of came out, and that was the big thing, whenever you would buy a Blu-ray player, it would be like, redeem this code, and then you get a selection of 2 or 3 Blu-rays out of this collection.
Nice.
And Alien vs Predator, it was one of those options.
Oh,
and
okay, perfect timing.
Because it's a very visually sort of like
stimulating kind of project.
It's a very visually strong movie. Like that's its whole appeal of it.
Yeah.
Also in that collection, there was like Good Luck Chuck that I just watched recently.
Good Luck Chuck. What is that?
Good Luck Chuck is like a 2005 rom-com that's like just really bad mid-2000s sex comedy.
Does it have Vince Vaughn in it?
Doesn't have Vince Vaughn in it. No.
I don't know why. It just seems like a movie that would have Vince Vaughn or like someone like of that sugar in it.
It's definitely that type of movie, without a doubt. Very, very exploitative. A lot of, look at that. There's a lot of boobs. Like
nice classy kind of fare, yeah.
They've got to objectify a woman every 5 minutes.
The 2000s were a terrible time to be a woman.
It was 2007. 2007.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? And it had Dane Cook in it. Dane Cook is the lead.
Okay, yeah.
So it's one of those movies.
Oh, okay. That really sounds that you're really making me want to watch this movie now.
Yeah,
Reese.
and when that was right next to AVP to redeem for a Blu-ray, you're gonna go for AVP. Good luck, Chuck. It doesn't matter if you're watching it on DVD or VHS. You still get the tits. You still get the objectification of women every 5 minutes.
But you get to see Dane Cook in high definition, bro.
Yeah.
For the time, at least.
So I had all those things and already ticked all those boxes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so AVP was probably one of those movies that like everyone that had a Blu-ray player most likely had this there.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't hear that many Good Luck Chuck heads out there. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I love that movie, bro.
Exactly.
I started a fan club based off
just
it.
as an example, an example.
Yeah.
And they're like, and crossover movies definitely do have a place in cinema, spanning from like around this sort of 2000s period. Only a few years after this, there being like Freddy versus Jason, and then we also recently like it seems like something that is very like cinema has developed enough to not bring out crossover movies anymore. Audiences not be that into it, but. Freaking Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah, true though.
That was very profitable.
Yeah, definitely. And like a lot of people love that movie. I am not one of them. I think it's a pretty terrible movie, but I understand why it had like the audience that it had, you know what I mean?
But something that I think is ignored a lot is that when we think about crossover movies, these are the ones that we think of immediately, but then the biggest cinematic force of our generation is based on crossover.
Yeah.
Like, the Avengers and the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe is based off of characters crossing over and seeing them in the same environment.
That's like their whole like thing is like, they're basically like big crossover events and all. I mean, hell, like, and the Avengers movies, they are some of the biggest event movies to come out in like the last decade. And, you know, a lot of people don't think about it, but they are crossover movies, just without the verses.
Pre-crossover, when you had like Captain America and Iron Man, they were profitable movies, but it wasn't until Avengers, the ultimate sort of crossover movie of superhero. Superhero.
Yeah, there you go. You did it, mate.
That it became this giant force of cinema to take over the entire industry.
Yeah, and now like you'd be getting a lot more like crossover movies nowadays. You know, you had like the Dark Universe that tried to do like
that tried.
Yeah, that tried, which is funny because back in the day they actually, you know, before like Freddy vs. Jason and Alien vs. Predator, we did have like monster crossover movies.
Yeah,
we had like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yes, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Yeah, Blackula versus Blackenstein.
Yeah, exactly. All those sort of things.
Yeah, all those classics, you know?
Yeah.
No, but so like the crossover event has been around for a long time. It's just like it was never really, I don't think it was ever really like a big profitable event thing until say like the MCU or even like back in the day with Freddy vs. Jason and all that.
Just picture if maybe AVP was a little bit more family friendly, we would be every 6 months getting a new AVP movie.
Oh, goody.
That
I can't wait for that.
different aliens, different creatures from all over the
I can't wait to hear
Warner Brothers.
I can't wait to hear the Predators equipping every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what I need to see.
Exactly. Even though that we even got like in 2018 with the Predator, a very MCU style comedic.
That was like kind of one of our like
movie.
bigger gripes against the movie. It felt very MCU like, which that just doesn't fit a Predator movie, you know.
So alternate universe, if they did this a little bit more family friendly, a little bit better.
Yeah.
A little bit quality better.
Yeah.
Who knows? We could be every 6 months going to see another Xeno. Have a duel with a Yautja?
With a Yautja.
With a Yautja.
Dude, what about and then we'd also be getting Disney Plus shows as well of spin-offs to the Predators and the Xenomorphs.
Exactly. We'll get a side characters.
We'll get a Disney Plus show about the face hugger.
We'll have like baby Xenos that'll be marketed to kids. That's all about cute little face huggers and things.
Mate, oh damn it, we are in the darkest timeline, man.
What are some crossovers that you think could work?
Oh, that could work?
Yeah. Do you have any in mind? Or because I do have one in mind.
You give yours and then I'll try to think of one.
This is a very outside the box one, but I have thought about this for a bit. So I think Saw, bringing together Saw and Halloween with Michael Myers getting caught by Jigsaw
Yeah.
and put into a trap to redeem for his sins.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then seeing Michael Myers have to react with all of these saw traps.
Yeah.
And a lot of the sort of appeal for this for audiences that aren't too invested is that Michael Myers will sort of lose a lot of these saw traps and get like things impaled through him, fingers cut off, all these so then burnt alive.
Yeah.
But then he just comes walking out completely fine,
Holy
one after
shit.
the other. He very rarely actually gets through
Yeah.
one, but then he just keeps on walking through and getting through.
Shit.
So there's a lot of opportunity for gore, a lot of opportunity for guts, and Jigsaw doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what to do with this guy just
for the
getting
first
through.
time. For the first time, he is stumped because he was
Yeah.
always ahead of the game in those movies. But yeah, now for once he's like, oh no, what do I do now?
Yeah.
He's met his match.
Exactly.
He's met his other Jigsaw puzzle piece.
And then like the final sort of climax is when Jigsaw is in his sort of like camera operator room sort of
Yeah.
thing, looking on these screens, and the last trap that he thinks he's got him. He's got
Yeah.
Michael. There's no way that he can survive out of that. He seems to lose, and then there's all smoke clouding up the room. Can't see anything, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I did it finally!" And then the smoke clears, but Michael is not in the room.
Oh my god.
And then he hears some sort of like wall get smashed in.
Yeah.
Looks like goes behind his operator's room, and then there's a giant hole in the wall.
Ooh.
And they're in this weird sort of maze-like operation room.
Yeah.
And then Michael is hunting down Jigsaw in this area.
Damn.
This is something that this is a concept that I just then thought of on the couch.
Yeah.
But when you think of trying to bring together a lot of other sort of creatures, I can't, this is just what comes to mind that I think could work.
Honestly, mate.
Here's my pitch to Hollywood.
Hollywood,
Here's my 5-minute pitch.
Hollywood execs, if you guys are listening right now, you should be taking notes and maybe give Reese a couple calls.
Yep.
I think this is a good money making idea. That's we can really take advantage of, and will make cinema more profitable in the future.
And
I
it's
reckon.
two relevant properties as well.
Yeah,
Saw
true,
is still
though.
coming out with their things. It
Yeah.
would be called like Halloween Kills from the Book of Saw, some shit like that.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah, they can really combine it.
Yo, are we gonna get dude? Can I just ask? How is Chris Rock gonna play into all this though?
He is Michael Myers.
Chris
he
Rock
pulls
is
off
Michael
his
Myers?
mask at the end of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sold. You've sold me on this,
Exactly.
man. Let's fucking do it.
Yep, there we go. That is how he is in there. He's
Yes.
wearing high heels so that he seems a lot taller.
Yeah,
and
nice,
He's wearing like
nice.
a muscle suit
All right, perfect.
to give him that presence, but that is how he ties in.
I love it.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So I think it works. Do you
Yeah.
have any that come to mind?
No, I can't think of anything like any. I can't think of any that would work. You know what I mean? Like I just keep thinking of like really like stupid random shit. Like I don't know, like fucking Schindler's List and fucking Child's Play or some shit. like I said, just
How
like,
would this come together?
That's the thing. Like all I can think about is ones that are just completely randomized. Like
Dude,
none
what
that
I'm,
would
what I'm
work.
asking for here is for you to think of some sort of scenario that
No,
they can come together.
I'm trying-
maybe like
I'm trying to think.
Hellraiser, maybe Hellraiser and Schindler's List.
Oh my God.
You can see something going on there.
No,
The hell of World War II and the Holocaust.
Ooh, deep.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, because like while you're talking, I've been like listening, but also trying to think of like ones that would work. But like, it's just I can't get any in my head at the moment.
Okay, here's sort of like the purpose of the experiment
Okay.
of why I mentioned
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Is because pretty much no matter what you're going to say, it is going to sound pretty stupid.
Yeah, no, true.
My concept, as flawless as it is
Yeah.
fucking dumb. Really, really dumb.
No, mate. It's gonna be making millions, brother.
But that is what was making me so curious about these AVP movies. I hadn't seen them. I knew that they were a concept because they are arguably more popular or more sort of spoken about than the Soul franchises.
Yeah.
I think they have like a lot of mass appeal.
Yeah,
because-
definitely. They're like that was kind of like maybe like the big like event film of like that year. You know what
because
I mean?
it takes the icons from both of these series. We've just watched all of them, and we know
Yeah.
that there's more to the franchises than just the icon. right?
Definitely, yeah.
But this is legitimately taking them at surface value. Someone could probably write the script of AVP without seeing any of the Alien or Predator movies, because all they need to know is just the sort of concept, and then mesh them together.
Yeah, the script can just be Alien fight Predator, people die. There we go. That's your script right there. That's the pitch for Alien vs Predator 3. There
Exactly.
we go.
So then, do you mind if we start talking about the AVP movie,
Yeah.
2004, right now.
Would love to.
Here's a bit of the trailer.
What did you say this room was called?
Sacrificial chamber.
This story's all here. This whole thing was a trap.
They're not hunting us. We're in the middle of a war.
They're using us as bait.
You're ugly! Son of a...
So, there we have it. And it is undeniably really dumb.
Oh.
But
yeah, no, it is. It's such a stupid movie.
But that's the thing, right? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's set up to be obviously ridiculous because how are you going to get these two creatures together in a scenario that you will take seriously?
You're really gonna have to like take leaps in terms of like logic and like story logic and all that, and it's just logic in general to like, you know, get these icons together and then have it make sense, you know what I mean?
Like, already one giant barrier that they have is that all the Alien movies that we've seen are like more than a century set in the future than the present day of when these movies were made.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you go around doing this shit and then also try to keep like the continuity of like, you know, the established lore of the aliens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's where it has to become a children's story almost. Like just in the most ridiculous way possible. And honestly, for what it is and what it could have been, because I don't think I'm finding it very hard to think of a possibility where this was like captivating.
Yeah.
Where this just like reinvents the entire genre and franchise.
Nah, it's nothing like I don't think it's as like big as it like could have been in terms of like what the film could have done story wise, or like in terms of what's it called, like I want to say impact, but not really, because like I feel like a lot of people do remember this movie, and it is pretty impactful in the film community.
What I'm trying to say is just like I don't think objectively they could have like made it any better.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
But,
Which it's nowhere near the perfect film. That made it sound like that. It's like, yeah, perfect. But there is a very little way to make bringing these two together good, I think.
Yeah, you're not gonna make, like, I think, like, you're never going to end up with, like, a 10 out of 10 film bringing these two icons together, I think. But you know what? Do you want to give our opinions on, like, our personal opinions on this movie?
Yeah, sure. You lead the way.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie, and like I don't think it was ever going to be, no matter what they did. But honestly, I had a lot of fun with this movie, which is really surprising because I had watched this once when I was like, I think 12, and I fucking hated it.
Oh, really?
I thought it was boring. I thought it was goofy as fuck. I did not care about any of the characters, and like that last part hasn't changed. I don't really care for any of the characters. They're all just kind of there to die. But for what it is, it's just a fun little time waster of a movie. Like it doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything, but I enjoyed what I got. It's not perfect, and we'll get into why a lot of it doesn't work, but it was a good time, I say.
That surprises me because when I think of the demographic of who this would have been perfect for, is it would have been perfect for teenagers getting it from Blockbuster, watching it with their friends on a sleepover.
Yeah.
Or like it being the Blu-ray that is just played way too many times for when you have friends over.
Yes.
Yeah, like that is who this key demographic is for, and also why it would have been so successful at that point. Because I think that's what a lot of people were looking for then.
Yeah,
even
definitely.
like people in their early 20s that just want to like go to the cinema and not even talk about the movie afterwards.
Yeah.
Just go, what the fuck is going on? This is great. It be stimuli.
Yes.
Like, that's what it is. And I think that for the most part, this is a stimulating movie.
Yeah.
Besides the first act, dog shit. I think it's set up awful.
I think it's universally said that, like, the first act of this movie is pretty fucking bad and boring as well. It takes way too long to establish, like, so many characters that, like, you just don't really care about, apart from, like, the protagonist. Like, she has, like, a decent introduction of her climbing the mountain and, like, showing, like, oh, look how cool she is. Oh, she's on the phone climbing a mountain. Oh, my goodness. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's very early 2000s of you. Okay, fair enough. I'll let it slide. But, like, there's too many characters that they introduce in this movie. You don't care about really any of them. They're very one note, and it's just like, yep, they're gonna die. Like, fucking, Ewan Bremer,
from
Trainspotting? From Trainspotting's in this
Yeah.
movie, and his whole thing is, I have a camera. I like taking photos. I have a family, and it's like, oh, he's fucking dead.
Yeah,
he is so dead. And yeah, it's like it's no surprise, and it's like, you know, none of these characters I would say are outright like awful, like you fucking hate their guts kind of thing. But honestly, it's kind of worse because they just leave no impact on you, apart from maybe like the protagonist and I guess Ewan Bremer, but more so for how funny his whole marked for death status is.
So far with these AVP movies, they are introducing the most disposable of casts.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But I think though it's almost actively that, because people aren't here for the survivors.
No,
they aren't here they aren't even here for the story of what is going on between with the hero element. The human element of it.
Which is fucking batshit insane, the whole like story of like them.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so crazy.
So dumb.
It is very, very dumb.
Oh my.
Do you want to talk about like how we have gotten aliens and predators together?
Sure, yeah. You wanna start off?
Okay, so it seems like that so we're in Antarctica.
Yes.
And it seems like that there have been xenomorphs got trapped in a pyramid that was frozen under the ice because the predators would come down to Earth and use this planet as sort of like a training ground to use xenomorphs to kill them and as like a test sort of thing to be like, yep, look how good we are.
Yeah, kind of like a rite of passage for the young predators to like earn their hunting badges type thing.
Yeah, totally.
And also like this was like way back in ancient times as well. Like they were seen, like the predators were seen as gods.
Oh yeah, because the humans were around.
Yeah, because
take it away from here.
Because they got like a bunch of like. Because, like, how they find the pyramids, like, oh, this pyramid has, like, bits and pieces of architectural design from, like, all the different world pyramids. You got the Mayans, the Egyptians, and, like, so I guess people, like, they... the predators are all very multicultural. They got, like, people of all cultures to come and worship them.
They're really
built this fucking pyramid.
They're really a fan of other cultures. Honestly, to be honest, I think that's consistent with, like, they're almost historians. They're, like, collectors of historians, and they're very sentimental.
Yeah.
With them, like, taking skulls and going around, like, sort of ticking boxes to, like, I've killed this creature from this planet, this creature from that planet.
Yeah.
They are very sentimental, so it actually makes sense that they take these elements from different cultural pyramids.
It's like not the stupidest thing about this plot. It's like one of the more like, oh, okay, I can see that.
Like,
and not
that's
scoff.
consistent.
Yeah, like I'll look at it and I won't scoff at it at how like ludicrous it is. It's still ridiculous, but like it makes sense in terms of the Predator lore. You know what I mean?
What is ludicrous is when you see a shot of in like a flashback of those days when they did use these xenomorphs as like pretty much like target practice, and seeing the sheer amount of xenomorphs that they would take on at once.
Yeah, there was like fucking hundreds.
It was hundreds against like 3 predators at the top of a pyramid.
Stupid.
There is no way that you were going to survive that.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, they don't in this flashback.
They don't, and they decide to just fucking nuke the place anyway.
And then they just nuke the place because
like,
it's not worth it, they
yeah,
feel.
It's so stupid.
And then humans discover it, the Wayland Corp.
Yes.
They discover it then.
Yeah.
Thousands of years later.
Thousands of years later. And also this movie, like... This movie's not canon, right? Like
it is not canon. Neither of the AVP movies.
It's not canon, yet they got Peter Wayland back in this one. And they got the same fucking act. They got Lance Hendrickson from Alien 3 to play him. And it's like, okay, now you're just confusing me. Are you canon or not? Because, like, apart from that, like, you could watch this and be like, okay, yeah, it's like, it's doing its own thing. But then you have this actor who's in the mainline series playing the same character in this non-mainline film.
Also, hundreds of years beforehand.
Yeah, hundreds of years beforehand.
In the chronology of all of this.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. Like, it broke my brain trying to think about it. I'm like, how does this work? What?
It's so funny that this movie, which should be for fans because it's putting 2 icons against each other, feels like it is not made for fans.
No.
The target demographic are the people that are the most sort of alienated or isolated from the Alien and the Predator franchise.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of isolation, I think one thing that made audiences feel, I think, a bit isolated is that this movie's PG-13. Which is a big slap in the face to a lot of like the fans of, you know, both respective series, because they are known for their levels of brutality, blood, gore, violence. Like, and then in this movie, there is no blood or gore whatsoever, like human blood or gore. You do see a lot of like predator blood, a lot of xenomorph blood. You see xenomorph brain, and it's like, oh, it's a different color, so it's fine. We can show that. That's all well and good.
It's okay because the cut that we got to watch was the director's cut.
Yes, true.
Which is full of blood.
Yeah.
That is CGI'd in.
Yep, they literally just went on Premiere Pro and they're just like, all right, let's just add some blood effects and let's call it a day.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I would have been better. I think if I ever watch this movie again, I'm just going to watch the PG-13 cut because the CGI blood, it should have, good on them for trying, but it didn't work. Like, it was too little, too late.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think
it just looks like jam. It looks like terribly CGI jam.
Yeah, literally. And it's like, I think that was also a reason why, like, I hated this movie as a kid, because it's like, where's the edge? Where's the blood and gore? But, like, watching it now, it's like, you know what, like, it's fine. Like, I don't care as much. It's like, I still get to see the alien and predators fight it out. I'll just have to deal with the lack of blood and gore. However, I will say this: we don't get any good chest bursting in this movie.
We don't.
Which is one thing I cannot forgive the PG-13 cut for taken away from us.
Yeah, they couldn't really like edit around the blood of chest bursting.
Yeah. So you kind of have to just do it off screen and all that, which is like there was no other way around it. But like, it still sucks. And I think this is like the only like movie with a xenomorph to not have a chest, but to not have like a good chest burst, which sucks.
On the topic of visuals, I think that the lighting in this is one of the most bland.
Yeah.
Like, in the entire Alien and Predators and everything.
Yeah.
It's just so flat and grey and uninteresting. And that is why I think the first act is so uncompelling.
Oh, yeah,
because
no, I don't
obviously
blame you.
the characters aren't written very well.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be. They're sort of teasing a little bit the Alien and the Predators coming together.
Yeah.
But
they
then
do take their sweet time.
As they're having these conversations and they're bickering and all this sort of shit in the snow, it just looks so... It's just so flat.
Yeah, it's nothing special. It's all the conversations. It's just your standard shot, reverse shot. There's nothing that pops about the cinematography really, or like this, or even like the sound editing is like nothing special. It's just very run of the mill for the first third.
They really skimped out on anything that wasn't in the title of this movie.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. If it's in the title, then yep.
Yeah, we'll put in effort into the Alien and the Predator and the Versus, but everything else, we'll get our B team to work on that. Yeah,
I do think some of the particular imagery I think is sort of cool in the way of what comes to mind.
Do you mean like in the movie in general, like in the first act?
No, not in the first act.
Okay.
No.
No, because like in the movie there are some like really fucking good shots in this movie, and you go first because.
Oh, I wasn't even really thinking about shots. I was more thinking of like mise en scene and aesthetic of particular things. Like I sort of didn't mind some of the interior pyramid stuff. I thought like that was an interesting sort of setting.
Yeah, no, it's new. It's like, I haven't seen this before.
Especially when they're destroying the place. And because it also just puts such a... When I'm there realizing that we're inside a pyramid with the Alien and the Predator, that is what highlights to me, this is so dumb.
Yeah.
And they literally needed a frozen pyramid to get these two together.
Yeah, it's great.
That shows that they are really grasping at straws of how the fuck to make this work.
They're chucking shit at the wall and seeing whatever sticks, and hey, we'll just write that in.
Exactly.
Frozen pyramid underground in Antarctica? Fuck yes, we'll do that.
Exactly. Where but when I say like aesthetic mise en scene imagery, I'm talking about like the xenomorph that has the net cut in its head.
Yes.
Love that.
That was so fucking cool.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
These movies both shine when it is taking advantage of this like unique ailments and injuries that a predator can give to a xenomorph and vice versa. That is what is cool. And I think that's the same for like the second one.
Yeah.
But it's where in this they're just doing really like when the Predator blows up a Xeno with its, like, plasma gun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, whatever the fuck. Like, you
can
blow up that
who cares, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, we've seen that in Aliens. We saw heaps of aliens be blown up by, like, plasma rifles.
Yeah, no one wants to see it's just, like, them just getting shot up and all that. It's like, it's boring. Give us something new.
It's the aliens being, like, their head cut in half or, like, things pulled off, or even like their something as cool as like their the alien tail being used against these predators. That's cool.
Or even like later on in the movie, like using the alien skull as like a shield. Like that shit is so fucking cool to me.
What I like too in this movie, with like the comparison of aliens versus predators and how they're presented differently in their films, is that the aliens are a lot more seemed like they're not personable, and they're almost like rats and insects, that there's just heaps of them and there's no particular personality between all of them.
They work on instinct basically. Like an animal basically.
So there's no character to these xenomorphs, which is sort of their charm though, and that's also like their fear. You cannot reason with
you can't reason with it, and also you can't predict its movements either. It's an unpredictable creature.
Where like with the predator, I find it cool that there's only 3 predators that enter this pyramid, right?
Sick, honestly. They don't overdo it with you could have put in like multiple predators and all that, but 3 I think was a nice little touch.
There it feels like 3 hitmen coming into the pyramid that have their goals and they're there to reach those goals. And I think that's sort of cool and sort of presents the differences between the 2 franchises and the 2 species. Is that these one, like with predators, they do have some sort of personality each.
Yeah.
Also, each one has its own unique characteristics. And it's not that they're explored that well, but you at least get that.
There was they made a little bit of an effort. They just didn't go far enough with it in terms of like differentiating these predators and giving them their own personality traits. You know what I mean?
Watching these movies, at least I get the concept of that.
Oh
in
yeah,
their,
definitely.
In their species.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely.
And I honestly do not hate it when the predator teams up with the humans.
See, I thought I was going to fucking hate that because I remember that bit from like the movie, like when I first watched it. Honestly, it's dumb, sure, but it's kind of fun, honestly. It's kind of like, we haven't seen this before. We haven't seen a predator and a human team up doing the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And
it's like, okay, let's see where we go with this. And it's honestly kind of endearing to see, honestly.
Well, one of my work friends was claiming that, like, they were, like, completely turned off by this movie when they saw the shot of the predator making like the alien shield and the alien sort of like the tail spear.
The spear,
for her, like for the human
protagonist. I think her name was like Alexa or something.
Yeah, and then like gives it to her, and then they run off together into the distance. Together.
I understand where your workmate's coming from, because that is such a goofy ass looking shot. But
pretty goofy.
Honestly, it is like the good kind of goofy, like endearing in a way. Like it's like, this is so stupid, but I'm having fun. I don't care. Like, my god.
One annoying trope of these crossover movies that it feels like that they have to do, and every single one does, is that out of this versus this, they have to make one of the title characters the good guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They have to make it the good guy.
Yeah, they did that with Freddy vs. Jason. They made Jason the good guy.
Yeah, Jason is the good guy in Freddy vs. Jason.
So fucking dumb.
In Godzilla vs. Kong, it's Kong. It's Kong that's the good guy.
They made Kong the good guy, and then they had both of them join up to fight Mechagodzilla.
Oh my god!
Spoiler alert for a piece of shit movie, but yeah, sorry guys.
so yeah, there's like they've always got to make a good guy.
Yeah. And it's like something that I've always been kind of like, I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of stuff most of the time.
Doesn't it feel more... I think it feels more original and less formulaic if they can just... And I think they can get away with this by just going, they're both bad, and it's 2 bad people fighting.
Yeah.
And that is okay.
I think for a lot of like directors and studio execs and all, I feel like they think it's too simple, and they always need to like...
It's too simple.
Like it's too simple of it. They always need to like overcomplicate it by like having them be like, oh, one's bad, but the other one's not as bad, so they got to join forces, and like, I don't know, they just put in too much bullshit.
I don't think that it's a simplicity. I think that it underestimates the audience. It feels like that an audience needs a main it needs someone to identify with.
Okay.
Yes, well that's me, and like root for one that like each hit that the predator gives to the Xeno to go like, yeah, fuck yeah, and then each hit that the predator gets to go, oh no, come on, you can get back, predator.
Yeah.
Where I think that audiences are mature enough to watch 2 bad people have a fight.
Yeah, like,
and also like
sometimes that's just all we want in the end, you know.
And also like making up their mind that, like, with this one, you are positioned and put in a hole to root for the predator, without a doubt.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
If there's two bad people that are fighting, that the film does not present one as worse than the other, I think it... I'm gonna get deep here.
Okay.
I think that it facilitates more reflection to think about what your own morals are and who you identify with more here, and what you think is worse, and also who you tend to, because I think that a lot of us can say that we love people in our lives that we know are not good people, and we can still root for people that are not good, and that's sort of a human thing, and it sort of makes us realize what is important to us, and it's not black and white between good and evil. I think that that's much more interesting than, okay, we're not going to make the Predator the good guy so that everyone has the shared, go Predator. Yeah. No, I think that's fucking annoying. Anyway.
That's pretty fucking deep, bro. Getting deep during a fucking shitty 2004 sci-fi film. Let's go.
If you get two objectively villainous characters to fight it out, it allows and facilitates more introspection into your own mind. There we go. That is my
Reese Marks 2022. Fucking nice. Where was that on your Letterboxd review, bro?
I know.
You should have written that down, man.
Because I'm just coming up with this right now. That's
hell
why.
yeah. Let's go, man.
If only I thought of that then.
This is the most deep anyone has ever gotten for a Paul W.S. Anderson film. Oh, also, yes. It's funny. This movie was directed by the dude that... What a weird career this guy has, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, he's directed, like... I don't think he's directed, like... good movies, but I think more so he's directed movies that like a lot of people seem to love, but like kind of know aren't good, you know what I mean? Like the Resident Evil movies, they're not good movies, but there is an audience for them. Like there are people that love those movies purely on how just ludicrously ridiculous they are, you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely.
And like, you know, and it's the same with this movie. This movie's fucking stupid, but it's a fun time, honestly.
It also doesn't align with like the... it also doesn't align with like the suite of Anderson directors, you know?
Yes,
there's Wes Anderson,
though.
Paul Thomas Anderson,
yeah,
and then this gentleman.
Yeah, then Paul W.S. Anderson, who is he's like the third Wilson brother in the Owen Wilson trilogy.
Yeah.
He's
totally.
Whatever fucking the other Wilson brother's name is, the one that no one knows, the one that was in Bottle Rocket briefly.
Yeah. Like I can't believe that this dude did like the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like
Holy
that's
fuck.
just fascinating to me.
Jesus.
And also did like the recent Monster Hunter movie.
Wait, that's a thing?
You didn't know about that?
No, not really.
Yeah, so there's a movie based off of the Monster Hunter video game franchise.
That's with the girl from fucking Resident... Oh, yeah, right, because they're married.
And it looks like Resident Evil.
I was going to say, that poster literally looks like a Resident Evil fucking poster.
It is so tone deaf to what the actual franchise is about. It's fascinating.
Are you serious?
Very weird.
I did not even know that this existed. What the fuck?
Man, he also directed The Three Musketeers.
What the fuck is
this? A 2011 Three Musketeers adaptation. That is a thing?
People wanted this?
Man, this would have been like the 2011 version of like the most recent Robin Hood movie that came out. That would have just come out and just no one
fucking saw it. I saw the Robin Hood movie that came out when like a couple years ago.
And one of your first sexual experiences in a movie theater with Robin Hood playing.
Yeah, that was that's a day I like to put behind me. But
now it's out there.
But every time that movie is brought up, I just get PTSD of that fucking that event.
You get sent back to your sexual awakening.
My sexual awakening. Yeah, I was not a sexual person until that encounter in the movie theater.
Exactly. It changed everything.
Every time I see Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx, I'm always gonna think of just that cinema event.
Speaking of sexual chemistry,
oh yes,
there's a lot of sexual chemistry between the Predator and the protagonist in this.
Yeah,
am I right?
There is. It's very like. It's weird, honestly.
It's very fucking weird. And it is, if you ask most people, I think that they will get it too.
Yeah, I think
it's not just us here.
Yeah, no, it is definitely a more universal thing than you would think. That like people get like very like romantic sexual tension from the human and alien, because like the way they kind of look at each other, the way they like gesture towards one another, it's very tender, strangely tender and heartfelt.
I think it has to do with the way that they're shot together.
Yeah,
the eye contact and like, the intimate, like the eye eye contact that they have and the way that it's shot implies intimacy between these two.
It is so
that is what's weird.
Oh my god, honestly.
And you really think you suspect that they're gonna kiss?
Oh my god, like, there's a point where like he even takes when he takes the mask off near the end of the movie, he like roars at her and he almost like looks like depressed because he's like, no, I look at me, I'm a monster, I'm a beast. How could a beautiful woman like you love a beast like me?
Yeah.
Oh my.
We could have worked.
Oh my god.
If it wasn't for these terrible circumstances.
No, but like literally, he like roars in her face after taking off the mask, being like, "Look at me, I'm a freak," and she doesn't like move or anything, and it's like, I don't care what you look like, I love you for you.
I love
like
you
that,
anyway.
like without saying it, but like you could kind of, insinuate from her,
that's what you get
from the look
this.
of her face, and it's like, what the fuck, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize we were watching Shrek, but all right, here we are.
It's like, of course, because they've made the predator the protagonist, they've got to have a love interest.
Of course, and
so there's got to be a sex scene.
Oh, mate, I cannot fucking wait for that. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, we do get a bit of a Predator-style sex scene in the next movie.
We do, we
which,
do. We'll
we
talk
will
about
sadly discuss that.
Yeah.
So,
and then after this, we get like our final climax, which is
it's
Predator and Human versus Queen.
Oh, yeah, the Alien Queen, yeah. And that's when the movie kind of loses me a little bit.
I agree.
It's too much CGI, like, I will say, like, when you see the Alien Queen earlier in the movie, looks fucking incredible.
Oh,
looks
yes.
amazing.
That is a good introduction.
Oh,
and
my
with
God.
it, like the Queen seems like almost like molded into the pyramid.
Yeah.
As an integral part of the pyramid.
Like the heart of the pyramid almost.
Yes.
Because, like,
that is cool imagery. Speaking of that cool imagery,
Oh my
that
God,
is
yeah.
because also that like that it like that is what makes this pyramid feel like a hive.
Yeah. Oh,
it's got the Queen in the middle of it, the center of it,
Yeah, nice
powering
little-
it and reproducing.
Like a nice little fucking, like, it's a literal anthill, basically, this
Yes.
pyramid.
That is cool.
And yeah, so the Queen looks incredible for like most of the movie when she's just sitting around, but then yeah, when she starts chasing them, it looks like it looks like some shit out of like one of the Jurassic Park sequels.
Yes,
it's so stupid.
I was going to say that it's the scale is too big there.
Yeah.
Like the action scale is too big, and then it just feels like it doesn't feel like a horror action movie anymore. Then it just feels like an action movie.
It turns into like just some action schlock, and it's like, you know, for most of the movie, like all the dumb shit, you know, I'm like enjoying, I'm like laughing along with it. It's like, hey, I'm liking this, but like then I think that kind of went a bit too over the top, and it just didn't work for me. It kind of lost me. The way they killed the Queen was kind of cool.
With the
like
falling?
chaining, like having her be chained up to like that water tank or whatever it was, and then having her sink to the bottom of the Arctic Ocean. Like that's a cool way to kill her, I reckon.
Yeah, cool kill
Yeah.
leading up, not good battle.
Yeah, cool kill, lame fight. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it you know, you hate to see it, but you know, can't all have winners.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Can't all win.
Yeah, can't all win. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you know, also like, you know, nothing's gonna beat, you know, the Ripley versus Alien Queen fight from Aliens.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, exactly,
You know,
exactly.
yeah.
Especially too that like is in space.
Yeah.
Where this is like, you know,
just in the fucking Antarctic desert.
Yeah, in the
Antarctic desert. Yeah.
And I feel like the Antarctic I think that it takes a very skilled director and cinematographer to frame the Arctic interestingly, because I feel like in a lot of movies it's just framed very boring.
Yeah,
because
it's
there's not a lot there.
Yeah,
so
it's
you
just
really
framed
have
as
to
like
work.
ice and shit. Yeah.
Like when I think of a good and like anxiety-provoking way that Antarctica is framed.
Are you gonna say the Thing?
Yes,
of course,
The Thing.
of course. That's
Yeah.
that's like the quintessential Antarctic movie. Like to really like
Especially like Antarctic horror.
Yeah, Antarctic horror, or even just like in general, because like a lot of movies like that utilize, like you said, the Antarctic setting are just framed in the most like boring or like just nonchalant way, like just very just standard, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm very curious how this movie would have been if the script remained as The Hunt, Alien versus Predator.
Was there any like is
like
this
plot details?
Yeah, is there any
like
like plot details of like what that film was going to be, or is it just like they also had like a working title and all that, and then just kind of called it a day? Because I'm sure like they must have like there must have been a script that was written back in the day of The Hunt, and they probably like maybe changed it around a bit, and then, you know, thus getting the script that we have for this movie, the one that was used for Alien vs Predator.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think that there's anything. Actually, here. No, here's a plot synopsis from
let's hear.
Xenopedia.
Yeah. Oh.
After killing several xenomorphs on a desolate planet, a group of predators led by an individual known as Broken Tusk return to their ship with their trophies. Aboard their vessel is a captive xenomorph queen, whose eggs they have been using to seed worlds with xenomorphs that they may have then hunt.
Okay.
As the eggs emerge from the queen's ovipositor, so that seems to be where it's born from.
Interesting.
They are scanned to determine their contents. Any containing royal facehuggers are immediately destroyed, so as to prevent any seeded hives from expanding beyond control.
Smart boys.
Broken Tusk, apparently seeking a greater challenge, that's cool, interrupts the process and loads a royal egg into a seeding probe before launching it into space.
Nice.
How long? Okay, this actually goes on for quite a while.
Okay, we won't read the
That's
whole
a good setup, though, right?
Yeah, it's not
What
bad.
I like about that is that it seems like it's not it's not about the humans.
Yeah.
It is about the alien and the predator, what they're going to focus on anyway. And it also sort of like gives a bit of character to exactly what I said earlier in the episode, is that you can see that the predators as a species have character each. They have personality because they have like they're logical, sort of beings.
Yeah, they're more human-like than, compared to the xenomorphs.
Like they have a frontal cortex.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, they're thinking creatures.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually, side note now. They have a frontal cortex, a lot more logical and, personality. That's where that all happens.
Yeah.
And they have quite big foreheads.
Yeah.
Where xenomorphs, they're all like the back.
Yeah,
the cerebrum, basically.
Yeah.
Basically all just the back. And the cerebrum has, in your brain, to do mainly with like your motor movement and instincts and stuff like that.
Right. Oh, okay.
So,
wow, okay.
Visually even, design-wise, it reflects how they are.
Okay,
Love that.
That did you just come up? Did you
I
just
just
think
then
that
came up with
That
that.
is fucking
Yeah.
great. No, that is great. Fuck yes.
So yeah, and we could have. This script seems very, very cool. In the way that it sort of expands on that personality and also like shows the flaw of personality.
Yeah.
Like how. Like almost like biting off too much that they can chew and it fucking them all over because the predator got greedy.
Yeah,
that is cool.
That would have been really nice to see.
That shows and also being one shows that there's like a flawed hunter.
Yeah.
And I assume that with there being like obviously then there being different characteristics between these predators, there would have been very good like because they don't speak English. There would have been potentially very interesting and intriguing non-verbal communication character.
That would have been really cool
establishment.
To see.
I think that would have been awesome because I was just about to pitch my sort of idea of where I think a more interesting, grounded Alien vs. Predator could be, and it would obviously be in space.
Yeah.
It feels dumb and stupid for it to be on Earth because it's a crossover of two alien species, right?
Yeah, why set it on just like boring Earth? Like you could literally like set it on any fucking planet.
Having it on Earth then makes it a crossover of three alien species.
Yeah.
It makes it Alien vs. Predator versus humans, but that is not what people really care about seeing. We want to see Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, that's like a big problem. That's like a big problem with like a lot of those like big kind of alien type movies where it's like you want to see like here's an example, right? The Transformers movies. You would just want to see the Decepticons fight the Autobots. However, you gotta fucking show they kept doing the thing where they show all the fucking humans and all that shit. And it's like, and it's all set on Earth. And it's like, why have these larger than life icons on just our world? Like you could have it be anywhere you want, any planet, any galaxy, and yet just on Earth with humans. Like they do it to like have someone to people the audience can relate to, humans. But it's like I feel like people can just enjoy watching fucking Decepticons and Autobots fight, and also watch Alien and Predators fight. Like we don't always need humans to connect with. Maybe we could connect with the Predator or something like that.
What would have been unique about this is that getting us to connect to another alien species. It's very it's very facilitating of the social structure that we can only relate with things that are exactly like us.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Alien versus Predator instilling racism into society.
Oh my god. Oh no. Like, oh Jesus Christ.
In a way, yes.
Yes. Well, great commentary right there. Fucking hell.
But there could have been so many other places to go, and why pick Earth? Really freaking dumb.
Yeah, it's like, I think one thing that like is kind of an interesting thing that was never really explored in especially the Alien movies, was like, what happens if the xenomorphs were on Earth? That was like a big thing about Alien Resurrection. It was like, oh, we got to keep the aliens away from Earth. And I think a lot of, I'm speaking for like audiences back in 2004, even though like I was like a fucking infant back then. But I feel like a lot of audiences probably were clamoring for xenomorphs taking over the world, or xenomorphs fucking up some shit in the big city or whatever. And we never got that. And technically, yeah, we did get that in Alien vs Predator. We get that more so in Alien vs Predator Requiem, but that we'll get to there when we get to there, and how that doesn't work.
What also feels like a missed opportunity is that we have not even explored the planets of either of these characters as of yet.
No,
where it could have been, because predators obviously go around exploring. It makes sense that maybe they go to the xenomorph planet, do some sort of killing, and then one of them brings it on board, and then there's an homage to the first movie that it's almost like it's almost like the horror of the first movie, but then it also sort of brings in an homage to the first Predator. I meant before, like an homage to the first Alien. Brings now an homage to the first Predator, that the Predators are the ones that are sort of being like hunted by that, but then also doing that sort of role reversal of big, hunky, hunter-esque people. I mean, hunter-esque forces, like the soldiers that we see in the first Predator, but being hunted down by another hunter. That makes sense as something that it feels like it spiritually then carries on essence of the past two IPs. And explores it in a different direction.
Where were we in 2004, man? We could have written a better fucking movie.
Yeah,
than what
exactly,
we got.
man.
Like I said, this movie's fine, but like there's a lot of like stuff that could have been done with this film. This film could have done so much more with the potential that it had with these two big IPs. Like, and what we got, while it's not bad, it's far from perfect.
Who the fuck was it that came up in the writer's room with, so how about if they're in a pyramid on Earth, already frozen? What the fuck?
It's ridiculous. It's like a fucking game of Mad Libs, man.
I think that we could, like... that's the every fucking movie nerd.
Yeah, every fucking film bros. Like, I could write a better film. And it's like, we don't want to be, we don't want to be rude and all that, but it's like, I feel like...
what? Discount my Saw versus Michael Myers thing. That, maybe not many studios would buy that. But I think that we're onto something here with exploring these other worlds, but we're just past, it feels like we're past that point now. I don't think that studios want to explore that as much.
No,
it's very annoying.
We're probably not, and I really want to get
unless we really sell it to Warner Bros. As it being like a requel, and it just having heaps of self-referential sort of things that is ingrained into the very soul of it. Not one character going get to the choppers or anything like that.
Oh god,
nothing like that.
Don't remind me of that shit.
We're fundamentally instilling this. Keep it like naturally instilled into this movie, not just fucking like, hey guys, reference. You guys remember that from the old movie? Fucking hate that shit, honestly. So overall, I think pretty okay. Yeah, very okay movie.
It's decent. I had fun watching it. Is there a lot memorable about it? There's like memorable stuff. Honestly, some of my favorite shots in like some of the Alien and Predator movies are in this movie. When like the Predator and Alien are first facing off against each other, you got that nice like poster shot where it's them like staring up at each other. That is one of my favorite shots in the entire franchise. I love it. It goes fucking so hard. I love it so much.
Sick man.
Yeah, no, there's some cool shots. There's the one shot of like the net phase xenomorph standing on top of like it was like a pile of bones or some shit, and he's like roaring into like into the dark. That's another cool shot. Not like one of the best, but it's pretty alright. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to sum up this film. It's alright.
Yeah, completely.
It's not offensively bad. It could have been so much better, and it sucks that we probably will never get our dream Alien vs Predator movie. But you know what? What I got, I didn't mind. It was a nice little fun waste of time.
It would have made a lot of money, would have made a lot of teens and young people very happy at the time. And I guess, is there much to complain about that?
No, not really. And especially after watching the second movie, I think we're going to be regarding this movie as the best Alien vs Predator movie.
Well, there we have it, people. Next week, we're going to be talking about this second Alien vs Predator movie that I would like to say that we just watched, but did not see any of it.
Oh, no, yeah. I thought I was going blind halfway through the film. But we'll elaborate more in the next episode.
Okay.
See you guys.
Catch you next week. And don't forget to check out our Facebook page at Marathon Me Official, all one word, and our Instagram, marathonme_official, to keep up to date on the podcast. And hey, if you want to get into contact with us, email us at marathonmepodc, yes, the letter C, @gmail.com. Like podcast without the arse.